As an influencer, I feel so terrible for the people who cannot afford the price of the Switch 2. I mean, it must be sad being so poor and not being able to play video games. Even though the middle class exists, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you're poor if you can't afford the price of the Switch 2. I feel so terrible for you guys. No, really, I do empathize with all of the consumers that are complaining about this console. I mean, $80 games that are going to affect the overall industry of video games? That's ridiculous. I mean, it's awful. It's terrible. That's why I brought the Switch 2. Why are you guys mad at me? I mean, it's my job, right? I had to get the Switch 2. You really didn't expect me to, sit with the rest of you brokies, did you? I can use this as a tax write-off, bro. I don't even have to pay for this console at the end of the day. I don't know why you guys are mad at me. I just want to enjoy Mario Kart. I mean, I need my dopamine rush. What are you guys getting upset with me for? I don't get it. You guys are mad that I convinced you guys that I had some type of moral compass about buying this console. I mean, you guys live in a society. You guys complain about society every day, yet you still live in it. I just don't understand. I think you guys are really being dramatic. I have over 1 million followers and I shouldn't have instructed people not to buy it because they hold my opinion in high regard. I mean, they have free will. They're free thinkers. I don't understand how that's my problem. But yeah, I empathize and I feel so bad for anybody who can't afford this. It sucks you can't put this as a tax write-off. No, seriously, I can.
Because I can write it off on my taxes.
Do y'all not realize how annoying y'all are? Hi, my name's Kadwa and we're talking about influencers today. Welcome to the series where I talk about whatever's on my mind today. Because I have a big mouth, I like to yap about things with no particular end goal other than to start discussion. But today, I don't even know if it's going to be a discussion. This video is more of are we being for real? Nintendo and video game influencers. Stop acting as though you care about your audience as consumers and you feel so bad for anybody that cannot afford the Switch 2. I'm sick of it. Stop making videos pretending as if you can relate to your audience in any way that they can't afford the Switch 2 and you feel so bad for anybody that can't afford the Switch 2 and Mario Kart World is actually so underbaked. It's not worth the $80 and how this anti-consumerist practice of the welcome tour and stuff like that being put behind a paywall of $10, how that's so bad and how we shouldn't be supporting that and how Nintendo's so greedy and how this isn't worth this price and that's not worth that price. Stop making these videos. You know why? Because you don't care. You bought it. You co-signed it. You pre-ordered it. You stood in line at 12 a.m. on release day like everybody else. All back and no bone. Light work, no reaction, under no pressure. After all of that preaching, after all of that stand on business, vote with your wallet, and you have the audacity to show your face and be like, hey guys, it's Mudahar here. I just recently purchased the Switch 2. I actually stood in line at 12 a.m. out of curiosity. I didn't intend to get it. It's not like I made a bunch of videos claiming as though I would not get it and how we were supposed to stand up to anti-consumers practices. But I just called up my GameStop and they so happen to have this. Why are we pretending? Okay, if you want it that bad, just get it. Just get it and be for real with it. Stand on business. If you want that Switch 2, go get it. No one's stopping you, right? I don't care at the end of the day. But be for real about it. Be honest. I don't know why these influencers are struggling so hard to be honest with themselves and can't recognize the fact that this is the most hypocritical shit you could possibly do. It's phony and you guys know it. It's giving, let me play you a sad song on the world's smallest violin. Nintendo's so greedy. I just can't stand the fact that they're doing this to their consumers and pricing people out. Pathetic. At this moment, you're probably thinking to yourself one of two things. One, which is, she is so right. Oh my gosh, she has such a good point. Also, she is really pretty and talented and smart and oh my gosh. Or you are thinking to yourself, what the heck is this girl's problem? Why is she so upset about what influencers choose to do with their money? It's really not that deep and yada, yada, yada. The problem at the end of the day isn't the fact that these influencers want the console. Hell, my problem at the end of the day with this console in general isn't the fact that people want it. I mean, I wanted it. Didn't everybody want it? Right. My issue is the fact that these prices are so high and the amount of people claiming as though they care and convincing their audience as though they care about their well-being as a consumer and how far their dollar stretches and yada, 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 this, that, and the third. My issue is the fact that they're posing themselves as though they care when they actually don't. a very scummy thing to do, okay? These people hold your opinion in such a high regard to the point where they are now willing to change their opinions on things and actually change their behavior on things and what to buy and where to get this and stuff like that, depending on what you say. You know the influence that you have on these people. So to turn around and sit here and act like you care about these people and whatnot, about the fact that you want their dollar to stretch as much as possible and how you don't think these products are worth it and yada, 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 and how we shouldn't be buying this or that, and yet you go out and buy it, you're contributing to the very problem. Not only is it honestly like misleading, it's giving condescending, and it's also giving just insensitive to the whole situation in general. To be like, oh, I just feel so bad for the people who are like can't afford it and are priced out. Oh, you brokies, you know. I mean, the people who can't afford it. I mean, poor people. I didn't say that. The fact that you guys can't afford this Switch too. Sucks. It just really sucks.
Really sucks.
And I just wish there was something you could do about it, but alas, there's nothing that can be done. It's so scummy and condescending, and like, I feel like you're treating your audience like they are like dumb. I truly do. It irritates me. Also irritating about this is the people acting as though like somebody has forced their hand, right? I have to buy this. It's a business expense. This is a business expense. I have to buy it. I'm an influencer. You know, it's a part of my job. I have to do this to make money off of you. Like, it's just so condescending and like fake and just unrelatable. And it pisses me off. If I'm going to be completely honest, it pisses me off. Because this idea that the only way to like, you know, have a successful, maybe a Nintendo channel or whatever, just talking about video games in general, like in order to do that, you have to keep up with the trends. You have to at some point in time, which I can agree at some point in time you do, but like, I don't think it's impossible, right? And I'm irritated that nobody is sitting here in this community standing on business. That's annoying. I really hate this idea that like, oh, they forced my hand. Oh, I have to, Pookie. I'm sorry you broke, can't afford it. Like, it's just so irritating, and I'm sick of this idea of like people complaining about shit but not doing anything. And these people in the video game industry are saying, like, people in just the video game community in general just act like we can't stand on anything in terms of what we consume or video games in general, when that isn't true. We've done it before and we can do it again. How the hell do you think things change in the world if you're not willing to stand up to something? At what point are we going to sit there and stand and be like, okay, no more? The people who are sitting here saying like, oh, I really do feel bad for like the people who can't afford this console and stuff like that. If you really do feel that bad, don't buy it. Don't support the thing that's going on. Why? What sense does that make? You can sit there and plead and be like, oh, this sucks and yada, yada, yada. But ultimately, if you give in, if you buy this $80 game, you're saying it's okay. You vote with your wallet. They don't care how much you complain. It's not going to guarantee you any good games if you pay this price, right? I don't know why we're acting like it's so hard to stand on business for something. You don't need it. Just like the same people are out here calling other people broke for not being able to afford the Switch 2, to you influencers. You don't need it. Like, it's so condescending, and just I can't. It's annoying. It's really annoying. The fact that it sucks. Here's some breadcrumbs though. You can watch me play it. Like, does nobody else like get like icked out? Because I genuinely get icked out. These influencers who sit there and pretend like they actually care that their audience is, you know, being harmed by the very thing that they're buying, right? These people act as though like there's nothing that they can do, when there clearly is something that they can do. They can put their foot down, but they're choosing not to. Why? To line their wallet, obviously, right? But to sit there and pretend like you care is a new level of just irritating. It's very irritating. You really don't think that you could start something? You really don't think that like your voice or whatever could like impact a bunch of people by you saying that you're not gonna buy this? I mean, look at Nintendo. That man is popping off. I'm just saying, like, you people act like you can't stand on anything when that's not true. You just choose not to. Because what's the safest option? Lining your wallet. And don't sit there and act like you care. And if you want to, don't sit there and act like you care. Now, honestly, there's many videos out there that kind of are the inspiration for making this video today. But there was one particular one that I'm going to flash up on screen from this channel that really made me click the record button. Let me preface this by saying I don't know this channel from Adam, okay? I don't know this person. They could be a great person, all right? I'm gonna try hard not to like attack them like from like this angle of like you're greedy and yet because I don't know that, and they seem like a relatively smaller channel to compare to the other ones that I'm more interested in and stuff like that. But the way this video came off did not sit right with me, okay? They were basically doing a review of Mario Kart World and saying whether or not it's worth your $80. Apparently, they feel like it's underbaked for that price, right? Now, whole time watching this video, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, but you bought it. It's not worth that, but you bought it. That's what like playing through my head majority of the time when I'm watching this video. But I'm gonna play the clip, the segment that really bugged me.
I recognize that it's kind of rich for me to criticize Nintendo despite the fact that I gave in to their business policies and I purchased a Switch 2 myself, but I'll be honest, if I didn't feel like I needed a Switch 2 for my work as a YouTuber, I wouldn't have gotten one. I'm lucky enough to be in a financial position where I can afford that expense, in part because I can write it off on my taxes, but I think most people nowadays are not nearly as fortunate as I am. And I would argue that if you're in the financial position where you have to ask yourself whether or not it's worth it to buy a Switch 2, the answer is probably no, which really sucks, because like, I know a common response to the criticism is, well, you're just poor, but like, I don't know, I think poor people deserve to play video games too. I don't know, the whole situation's just really shitty, and I wish that anytime I talked about how much fun I'm having with Mario Kart World, I didn't have to give the caveat of the price is absurd and Nintendo is disgusting. But that's where we're at right now. Can't really separate the game from the price it's at.
I don't know, that whole segment just seemed a little bit kind of condescending to me, of like, oh, I do realize how hypocritical it is that I brought the Switch 2 and I'm complaining about it, and I do feel bad that you guys, you know, it just sucks that Nintendo is greedy, and it sucks that you guys can't afford it. That's why I bought it. Like you're contributing to the issue. Like I just can't take it seriously. Like, if you feel me, if you know what I mean, I can't take that seriously. Again, it's giving like all back, no bone, not standing on something. Like, do you really mean it? Like, that's my thing, is like, do you really mean it? Do you really feel bad? Because I don't know, when I feel bad about something, I don't go and spend my money on something that can contribute to it more. Like, I don't know, that just it's cognitive dissonance. I don't know. It's a little icky. It's a little icky and kind of like holding like you're. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, you peasants. Like they may not have meant to come off that way, but the way in which they're saying what they're saying definitely sounds like that. And so the comment that made me like recoil the most with cringe was just like the tax write-off part. Like, oh yeah, like I'm lucky enough, like I have enough privilege and stuff like that as this influencer, and for my business, you know, I have to buy this Switch 2 and I can just, you know, write it as like a tax write-off. Like, did you need to say that? Like, let's be real. Like, let's be honest. Like, when we're addressing people that, like, you know, can't particularly, like, you know, get the Switch 2, or it's not in their price range, they can't afford it, right? What would make you think the good thing to say is like, yeah, I'm at a position of privilege where I can write it as a tax write-off? Is that relatable to, like, do you think that comes off as relatable? Because it doesn't. I fail to see how, like, that's like a, you know, like, I felt like that was just unnecessary. It was an unnecessary detail to put in that video. Like, what are you doing that for? To flex on people? Is that what the purpose of it was? Like, I just fail to see the point of adding that in the video, and it just makes it come off as like a little bit more like, oh, like holier than thou. Like, I look how much privilege I have. Privilege check. Like, it's very weird. It's very weird. And I also need us to remember that just because something's a tax write-off doesn't necessarily mean it's like a good thing, right? Like, it's like the influencers that, like, you know, do tax write-offs on, like, you know, purses that they review, like luxury purses. I'm talking like Gucci and stuff. It's icky, and I didn't like that. Another thing that was a little bit irritating to see was the responses that they were giving in the comment section, which I thought were a little bit condescending. I'm not gonna lie. It was these comments talking about basically what I'm talking about, which is, you know, you flap your lips and say, like, you know, this is like awful, and, like, you know, I hate how greedy Nintendo is, and, like, you know, and then you outright bought it. Like, it again, it is a hypocritical thing. Like, And granted, some of these comments were a little bit like rude and stuff like that, which I didn't like the delivery of it. Like, there's a better way to explain your point without being rude, and I don't agree with it. But what I also didn't agree with was this person in particular taking those comments out of context and saying things like, "Oh, well, you live in a society, right? You live in a society and you complain about it, which I was like, did you think you made that? Like, I was like, what kind of comeback is that? Like, not even a comeback. Like, what kind of response is that? Oh, you live in a society and you complain about society, yet you still live in a society. Like, bitch, I felt like that was so purposely, like, obtuse. Like, why? Because you're not right for that, right? You know that's condescending, right? You know that's not the point that we're trying to make, right? It's a very dumb and honestly, I think, like, immature and underbaked argument to make. Like, be serious. Like, a society, something that you're forced to participate in, no matter how much you may not like it, compared to a game console you didn't need to buy, nobody asked you to buy, not a fair comparison. All right, I felt like that was condescending and a way to kind of dismiss the criticisms. Even so, I would have respected more if they didn't respond, right? Like, I get it, you bought it, whatever. You're hypocritical, okay? Like, you bought it. I would have had more respect if they didn't respond, all right? Or if they were like, yeah, I realize, like, how hypocritical that sounds and stuff like that, but maybe I truly do care, even though I don't think you do. Like, I don't know. I didn't like that. I thought it was icky, and yeah. Another video that irritated me during this time, I'll put the channel up right now, it's from this review channel, and them making a bunch of videos around the time of the Direct complaining about how greedy Nintendo is and how they don't like these anti-consumer practices and how it's awful that, they're like alienating the very audience that they've cultivated, and yet they still brought the Switch 2. It's not like they couldn't have waited a year and then maybe got it off the secondhand market, so they're not directly supporting Nintendo. Like, they couldn't have waited like a month. They couldn't, none of that. You know what they did? They bought it. And it just irritated me. That really irritated. Like, my God. And then the audacity, this is what was even the bigger kicker. The audacity to sit there and complain about the Welcome Tour being the most anti-consumerist practice known to man by Nintendo. The audacity to complain about it and then buy it and then actively complain about it when they already bought it.
And I'm going to talk about the Nintendo Switch Welcome Tour because I did buy it just to talk about it. You're welcome.
Hi, post-editing Keldawai here. I forgot to mention this part. This rubbed me so badly the wrong way when he said this. He was like, you're welcome. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
He thought he ate you're welcome. I brought the anti-consumerist practice so you didn't have to, even though it contributes to the problem. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
You'll never get another free tech demo in your life. You're welcome. Another free packet. You're welcome. I contributed to the problem. You're welcome. What the f? Not only did I buy the Nintendo Switch at the behest of my own word, I also bought the anti-consumerist tech demo. Kiss my middle finger.
You're welcome.
Kiss it. Kiss it with the ring on it. You know why? You should be thanking me. You should be thanking me that I screwed you guys over and everybody over in the industry. Forget a free pack-in. We paying big bucks, baby. Like, who? No, thank you. Actually, you should be ashamed of yourself.
This sits in the industry and kind of what's happening overall. The Nintendo Switch Welcome Tour, which I believe is like $8 or $10, something like that, is a crime. It is a crime against the customer. The fact that this is not a free thing that comes packaged in and instead is a big, hey, be excited that you can also play Nintendo Switch Welcome Tour for extra money when you buy a Switch 2, it's not just that it's criminal because it's a tech demo, it's worse. It's a glorified advertisement.
It makes me angry, and you might be thinking to yourself, oh, you're angry about what people do with their money. That's not it. If you want to spend your money on the Switch 2, it's not my money. You waste it the way you want to waste it. However, what I do have an issue with is sitting here and not standing on business and sitting here and acting like you and pretending like you care when really you don't. When you're contributing to the very issue that's keeping them right there. Like, you can't sit there and claim that you care. You really can't sit there and claim that you care about anti-consumerist practice and then you let them know the anti-consumerist practice is okay. All right, you can't sit there and say you hate the library and check out the book. No, that's not how this works. And honestly, you might be thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, this girl is so mad about how the way other people spend their money and stuff like that. That was never the issue. You can buy the Switch 2. I don't care. It's your wallet. It's none of my business, right? But what is my business is when you sit there and mislead your audience into thinking that you give a about them when you do not. Don't do that. It's scummy and it needs to stop. I'm so sick of the complaints of, oh, Mario Kart World is not worth it. It's not worth $80 yet I bought. Shut up. If it's not worth it, go return it. Go return it. Go return your system. But you won't, right? You need that money, and don't you? This doesn't just go towards the people who are obviously misleading their audience, right? This goes for the people, the YouTubers who like to act like all friendly and stuff like that, and have cultivated a really, tight-knit community, okay? Y'all don't care either. Arlo, I'm looking at you, all right? Don't sit there and pretend. I don't want to hear that shit.
Talking about I'm sorry. I don't want to hear that shit.
People are 100% lying when they act like they don't understand the influence they have. You know how to sway your audience. Stop lying. You know it. You know people hold your opinions in high regard. Stop acting like that. And before anybody decides to comment, no, I'm not broke. I just don't want the Switch 2 right now. I could afford one if I really wanted one right now, but I don't. So stay out of my wallet. And then secondly, no, this is not a Nintendo hate campaign. Okay. I don't no. Be serious. All right. I'm not a stockholder in this company. They provide me with a product. I take the product and I review it. And if I don't like it, I don't like it. And that's what it is. And I spend my money elsewhere. Okay. This is a transactional relationship. I'm not sitting here rooting rah, I want Nintendo to be successful and just smear campaign against a company. I'm not a stockholder. And neither are you. Why are you so invested? But also, the third point is, I don't hate any of the people I said in this video, okay? I don't really hate them. I just think that the choice that they're making right now is very dumb, all right? I think it's very dumb, and I think you need to stop lying to your audience, all right? If you're gonna buy the Switch 2, be honest, all right? Be honest. There's nothing wrong with wanting to get your bag. I might call you a little bit greedy. I might call you even a little bit of a traitor, but at least you standing in your truth, right? Don't pretend. Don't be honest with your audience. That's all I ask. And if you're one of those people who are teetering, be different. Being different has always gotten people much, much farther than people who are with the rest of the boat, right? Sticking with Nintendo, consuming whatever Nintendo does and stuff like that, right? Why don't you be the one to make a change? Take a stand, right? Why don't you be the one to be different and be like, no, actually, I'm not buying the Switch 2, and this is why you shouldn't. Come on, let's stand on business. Nobody's forcing you to swipe your credit card in that debit machine. All right. But with that being said, this will conclude today's Let's Rant session about influencers, Nintendo, and video game related. My name is Keldawat. Please comment below if you enjoyed this video. Did you not like it? Just be nice. Okay, I block people. I'm not afraid to do that. But yeah, that will conclude everything. I'm still working on a couple other videos, and if you want to know more of my thoughts about the Switch 2, I'm going to have a video come out about company greed, which will give all of the how I feel about the Switch 2 and the nonsense that's going on just in general with just really greedy ass companies. So stay tuned for that if you're interested. Tell someone you love them today, because tomorrow is not promised to us. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.